Hi, everyone. Look forward to getting your weekend started here tonight. Mike Corey, Seth Greenberg. All right, Seth, you got the top two teams in one of the top conferences in the country, not just from this year, but for the last few years. They've been playing great.
These are two tradition-rich programs, two teams not only I expect to be in the NCAA tournament, but advance in the NCAA tournament.
I heard a rumor way back that I was told that he was so focused on the season, Seth, that sometimes he would go weeks without opening any birthday or even Christmas gifts. I'm not quite sure how true that is, but we'll have to ask him later. Mike Rhodes and the job that he's done here now in his fourth season, the former assistant coach in that Final Four run, now leading the Rams here this season. And they are off to a fantastic start. Both teams are right now. We said it, number 1 versus number 2, and we're underway tonight from Richmond. What are you expecting tonight, Seth, for the offense here for St. Bonaventure? What are we going to see?
They're going to try to own the tempo of the basketball game, move the ball, move people, and then attack. Play downhill. That first play is a perfect example of that. They're not going to look to attack except on opportunity, but in the half court, they're going to try to make VCU defend.
Jalen Attaway gets the scoring started for St. Bonaventure. Here's your starting 5 for VCU. Hyland and Baldwin, they've started every game this season at the guard spots. Ward gets his 4th start of the year tonight for VCU.
This is a VCU team that, think about the first time these two teams played, they had a huge lead in the first half, lost their composure to some extent, and I think Mike Rhodes really used that as a teaching moment. But VCU, long, athletic, attacking team.
Five juniors in the starting lineup for St. Bonaventure. They are one of the younger teams in the country, but Seth, they're one of the more experienced teams because they got 4 returning starters from a year ago, and all 5 starters average over 30 minutes a game.
Yeah, when you have 4 juniors in your lineup and returning players, it's like a security blanket for a coach. They understand what you want, why you want it, and how you want to do it. And they also have a point guard in Lofton. And when I look at Kyle Lofton, I look at a leader, a guy that those other guys respond to, a guy that can set the table offensively and defensively.
There's an issue with the clock, so the officials are trying to fix that. Now, you just mentioned at the first meeting, Seth, what happened? It was a 40-25 lead at the half for VCU.
Yeah, what happened at halftime is when St. Bonaventure made that run in the second half, all of a sudden they did not respond to VCU. VCU all of a sudden, instead of meeting that challenge, they separated. In fact, Coach Rhodes addressed that in a film session after that game. And he said, you know, the most important thing is they need to learn from that experience. Instead of coming together, they came apart. Their shot selection was impacted, their ability to take care of the basketball. On the other side, St. Bonaventure, you got to remember now, the prior 2 times that VCU and St. Bonaventure played, VCU won by almost 30 points apiece. So Mike Schmidt challenged his team at halftime to make a stand. And how did they do it? Instead of playing on their heels and reacting to Havoc, they made Havoc react to them. How did they do that? By attacking, reading advantage, disadvantage, and then either scoring out of the pressure or making VCU defend. They did a great job of executing both in transition and in the half court.
Got an excellent officiating crew here tonight. Some of the best. Roger Ayers, Brian Dorsey, and Lee Cassell. And they've got the clock situation figured out, and we are just less than a minute into this game here tonight. St. Bonaventure with the early 2-0 lead on the shot from Attaway. And here's comes the pressure, yeah.
Yeah, here's the first level of Havoc, right? You face guard, you're off the ball. Now, the idea of Havoc is to pressure the basketball and create an uncontrolled dribbler. I like what St. Bonaventure did. They cleared the floor early to take away the next defender.
Kyle Lofton gets it to Attaway. Another drive and a whistle and a foul. And Attaway 2 shots coming for Attaway.
And Attaway coming off a 20-point performance against LaSalle. And that play that you just saw, you saw a ball screen and what we call a short roll, Mike. A short roll is basically they trap the basketball. That screener is going to roll and basically button hook back to the basketball. And then you're going to play basically advantage this edge forward. That action really, really hurt VCU that first game in the second half.
Foul is on Hassan Ward. That's a good word right there, action. How much action does Mark Schmidt and St. Bonaventure run, right? They got a lot of stuff, don't they?
He's a tricky coach. He's got a lot of tricky players, and he's also got a lot of tricky plays. He runs great action, and he runs a lot of misdirection action where the ball will be going one way, and yet the offense will come back in the other direction.
Vince Williams misses on the three. Here's Kyle Lofton on the run for St. Bonaventure.
You see here, Mike, they're going to look to run on opportunity, read advantage, disadvantage, play ahead of the defense, and if not, now you're going to see the ball move, people move, you're going to see all different angles, screens, and you're going to see tremendous spacing.
Oshuniyi in the post. Picked up his dribble, tries to get it up to the top, but it's intercepted by Ace Baldwin for VCU.
And that's half-court havoc. See, havoc can go all different levels. You can extend it to full court. You can also make your opponent react to you in the half-court. I think an interesting thing, Mike, is the difference in these two teams. You're talking about, say, Bonaventure, a veteran team, an experienced team, a junior team that plays only about 7 guys. And then you're talking about VCU, a young team, a long team, an athletic team, that they'll get 10 guys on the floor. The whole idea of havoc is to wear down your opponent. That's why Mike Rhodes plays so many people.
Well, and according to the early season rankings, which, again, always seem to change, but St. Bonaventure was picked 4th in the A-10 in the preseason poll. VCU was picked 9th, though both are really exceeding expectations as it's 1 versus 2 right now here at this point. And the first foul of the game is called on Welch for St. Bonaventure.
Mike, the one thing about both of these programs and a number of the programs in the Atlantic 10, whether it's Davidson or St. Louis, they're not just basketball teams on a one-season evaluation. They're basketball programs. So basketball programs are built through tradition. Basketball programs are built through culture. And these two programs have tremendous culture.
Well, Mark Schmidt's the winningest coach in St. Bonaventure history, and there's a traveling violation. I mean, he's done it for a long time now, and I got somebody joked around. They said, I think Mike Corey's the only first person that's ever called St. Bonaventure a basketball destination. But I said something on Twitter about it. But what I meant is that you go there, and you go there to play basketball. I mean, that's what Coach Schmidt said. You come here, you get a great education, you play hoop, there's not a lot of distractions, and it's evident from the way this team has played over the years.
And you develop trust because you have to rely on your teammates. When you're in a college town per se, what the most important thing is the trust and relationships you have within your team. And these guys right now are not only each other's teammates, each other's best friends, and kind of each other's brothers.
Another foul on the Bonnies. VCU 0 for 3 to start this game thus far. Slow start, only 4 for the Bonnies and 1 for 3 from the field, and it's been by Attaway with the points.
VCU is all about cumulative effect. It's not one possession. It's basically as the game goes on, you're trying to wear down your opponent by the speed that you play on and the pressure you put on them offensively and defensively.
Baldwin to the hole for the first 2 of the night for VCU.
Better known as Ace. He's a Baltimore guard, Mike. I love Baltimore guards. Had a great one in Malcolm Delaney. And Baltimore guards have high basketball IQs. They understand how to play, and they are fiercely competitive.
He did a great job a couple games ago in the win over Rhode Island on the road. He had got a tip ball and an offensive rebound, got it over to Bones Hyland, who was able to get the game winner. So doing all the little things thus far, and just a freshman. Here's a 3 from Attaway. Offensive rebound, pulled home by Welch. And now an offensive foul called on Jaron Holmes, and that's going to be his second, and that's going to be something to keep an eye on.
That's huge because when you think about Jaron Holmes, he's a bucket getter, and he scores in a lot of different ways. He also had 9 rebounds the last time. Watch right here. This is what Mike Rhodes is looking for. Active and alert defense off the ball. Stockard steps in. He sees the play early and takes that charge.
That's going to really hurt St. Bonaventure. He had a career-high 38 back in early January, 15 last game, and now he's going to have to go to the bench. We'll be back. That's an alarming stat. How about the origin, though, of havoc? You got to go back to Rick Pitino, right? This is who started it all, yeah?
Rick Pitino, when he went to Providence College, all of a sudden, you know what one of his players was? It was Billy Donovan, and he rode havoc in three-point shooting all the way to the Final Four. Billy Donovan basically adopted that style of play at Florida. Anthony Grant used it. Obviously, Shaka Smart was an assistant to Billy Donovan, and he basically put it on steroids right to the Final Four for VCU.
Attaway, that's a traveling violation on the Bonnies. Yeah, I remember those years with Anthony Grant at VCU. I mean, they just kept that thing going right into Shotgun. Of course, the Final Four run and all that. But it was a tough team to play against, especially in this building. I know it's different here tonight with only 200 fans in the house, but 250 fans. But this is a hard place to play, Coach.
This is a basketball facility, and this is a basketball school. And they built this facility, they built that practice facility because they wanted to have a level playing field to recruit against anyone in the country. You know, sometimes I used to say this all the time. Your commitment's got to equal your expectation. Well, the commitment at VCU is at the very highest level, and their expectation is at a similar level. And the facilities at VCU are absolutely tremendous, and we'll get into the value of that in a COVID environment later on.
Oshuniyi for St. Bonaventure. Tip ball, though, as Attaway and Lofton went crashing in, or making Welch that time. See who they credit it to. Attaway, and he's got all 6 St. Bonaventure points to get things started.
Although they're undersized, St. Bonaventure, they are not a good, but they are a terrific offensive rebounding team. And offensive rebounding is a mindset. It's an attitude. It's a toughness. It's pursuing the basketball. And that's what they do at St. Bonaventure.
Bones Hyland rejected there. Oshuniyi, and right back to the rack is Attaway, and he's going to head to the free throw line.
And the ball goes up in the air, you got to cut people out. If not, St. Bonaventure is going to get to the glass. Attaway, he's a terrific offensive rebounder. Then be alert off the basketball. Attaway makes a play in the offensive end, getting to the glass, and it makes a play on the defensive end, protecting the rim.
Vince Williams on the foul for VCU, and once again, Attaway, who's leading the charge here tonight. A guy that really was a leader last year, even while sitting out, Seth. I mean, he transferred from Miami, Ohio. I remember going to a few practices where he was talking up against with his guys, the guys that were on the bench, and saying, you know, he really had a strong voice, and he's fit right in.
Yeah, Mark Schmidt said he was the hardest player in practice every single day, and he went almost 600 days without playing a competitive game. And he's physical, he's tough, he's mature. He's what I call, quote-unquote, a winning player. Sometimes his stats aren't great, but you know what? He impacts winning on how hard he plays, the type of teammate he is, and the dirty work that he does.
Great runner by Keyshawn Curry, who's been banged up a little bit this year, hurt shoulder, and he's missed a few games. Now he's coming off the bench. He also had an ankle injury, but strong drive there to cut it to a 3-point game.
I love what St. Bonaventure's doing against the pressure. They're clearing all offensive players up the floor, so it makes it more difficult to come back and trap Kyle Lofton.
Oshuniyi working against Hassan Ward. Offensive rebound. Somebody's got to get on Attaway here tonight. He's got all their points with 9.
As a coach, that would bother you because when the shot goes up, you can't follow the flight of the ball. You got to find a man and cut him out. The other thing is if the ball goes into the post and you double, someone's got to seal down. So those are just mental mistakes right now, VCU, that Mike Rhodes will address.
That's A.J. Vasquez, number 10, who's checked in for the first time tonight. Picks up the foul, 4th team foul for St. Bonaventure.
I love the way Mark Schmidt has put together this team. You know, there's so many different parts to recruiting. Right? Some is obviously the actual recruitment of the players, but the most important part of recruiting is evaluating. And Mark Schmidt does an incredible job of identifying players that can play in his system. He does a tremendous job of player development and then getting guys to trust each other.
Bones Hyland knocking down the 3-pointer for VCU. Big shot there. And he's had an unbelievable sophomore season as there's a foul going the other way. And he's been working on his defense too, right, Coach? I mean, that's the area of improvement, and it's been good to hear this year for him.
Yeah, Coach Rhodes joked. He said, nothing personal, Mike, but when he first came to VCU, he couldn't guard you because he wasn't committed to guarding you.
There you go.
But now he is a committed defender. He uses his length and his athleticism to get deflections. You know he's going to play hard, but the thing about Bones is that his whole game is developed. Comes off ball screens now. He reads all 5 defenders. He makes you pay. He can make plays for others. And he's fiercely competitive on the defensive end.
The foul in the previous possession was on Oshuniyi, the big guy for St. Bonaventure, number 21. Remember, Jaron Holmes, one of their top players, is on the bench with 2 personal fouls here early in this game, which is why number 10, Vasquez, is in.
St. Bonaventure cannot afford foul trouble. I could see them going to play a little bit of zone, maybe a little soft 1-2-2 pressure, go back to their 2-3 matchup zone. Right now, we think about havoc, we think about creating turnovers. Havoc extends to the full court, but by pressuring and using your length and getting your opponent to react to you, Havoc is also very effective in the half court, especially with the length that VCU possesses.
Four turnovers for St. Bonaventure here. 8 minutes gone by. They hang on to a 2-point lead. Try to go back inside for Ward. It got taken away. Here's Lofton.
Lofton knocked down three threes in a row against LaSalle the other day. He had been really struggling. 3 for 34 from the three-point line, knocked down 3 big threes against LaSalle, hopefully to give him some confidence.
The atmosphere here at Bonaventure, like, it's a family atmosphere. It's no better place to play. It's strictly about basketball and family here.
We're just really close. Like, anytime we're eating, going anywhere, like, we're just together all the time. So just being together so much off the court, when we play in the game, it's just like we're already comfortable with each other. We know what we want to do, how we play, different things like that. So it's just, like I said, it's all a trust factor.
It's huge, Coach, right, in trying to have a successful season. I mean, and it's been even harder this year, of course, with COVID and not being able to have those interactions as much. But, I mean, here's a look at what Coach Schmidt has done and creating that family atmosphere. And, again, happy birthday to him today.
Yeah, it's tremendous what he's been able to do. Look over the last 5 years, top 5 finishes, consistency. I call Coach consistency because you know what you're going to get from St. Bonaventure every single year. His team's going to play hard. They're going to be unselfish. They're going to trust each other. It's the environment that he has created. A lot has to do with the guy he worked for way back in the day, Skip Prosser, who is also a master at creating great team trust and team chemistry.
And Williams ties the game now for VCU at 9. And I was on 2 radio interviews today, Seth, and I was asked about Coach Schmidt and whether or not that he would, be a guy who would stay there at St. Bonaventure, and that he couldn't understand why he wasn't up for other positions or jobs. And I just don't think he wants to do that. I think he's really cemented himself there in Olean, New York, and he loves it. And that's just my take on it. What do you think?
I think I'm an athletic director at a Power 5 school. I would absolutely back up the truck because, the success he's had at St. Bonaventure and the consistency he's had and the type of young people he's brought into the program. But I do think that you don't mess with happy. And he's very happy. His family likes it there, and he's had tremendous success. So, to me, I think it would have to be the right job.
Turnover, St. Bonaventure the other way, and Vasquez is going to head to the free throw line as he is fouled. Fouls on Mikel Brown-Jones, the freshman for VCU.
And what I've noticed the possession... I'm sorry, Mike. Yeah, what I noticed the possession before is that you're looking at VCU now kind of picking up their pressure some. Go ahead, my friend.
Well, we got Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. You got Duke and NC State tomorrow, 4 o'clock Eastern, and then we're going to follow that up with number 9, Virginia. How about it? They've won 9 of the last 10. They're 2.5 games up at the ACC right now. They're undefeated at home, and we know how important wins are for North Carolina right now to try to get into that conversation.
Yeah, not just wins, but quality wins against the field, and that's what Virginia offers you. And North Carolina is getting better. There's no doubt about it. But this is an opportunity for North Carolina to basically say, this is a quality win. We don't want to be a 10 seed. We want to be a 7, a 6, or a 5 seed. But to do that, you got to win these type of games.
Ball knocked out of bounds, and last touch by Bones Hyland. It's going to be St. Bonaventure possession. Each team now at 5 turnovers. Just about at the halfway point of this first half.
Look, this is a VCU team that plays with great emotion and great energy. Sometimes they've got to just slow down a little bit. Let the game come to you. Move the ball, move people, make the extra pass.
Lofton hard to the rim. Ball gets tipped out. VCU, and Baldwin tracks it down. Alley-oop. Count it to Jameer Watkins.
That's a product of havoc because you speed up Lofton, you get him to play a little faster. All of a sudden now you speed him up, you create a contested shot. They don't have the backcourt covered, and now you can run out and get an easy basket. So that is like a turnover.
Oshuniyi hands it back over to Lofton. Now back inside. And he can't convert. Offensive board. And finally taken down by Brown-Jones.
And that's the length of VCU right there. The length of VCU to score over at the rim is so difficult because they're so active. But this is active VCU defense, whether it's full court, in full court havoc, or in the half court, but just speeding up their opponent. You talk about length. Here it is. Drive, contest. What happens when you contest, you can kick it out and then get out in transition.
Well, this is one thing you don't want to do is get VCU on the line a lot in this game. That's already the 7th team foul by St. Bonaventure, and it's a 1-and-1 here. And why is that the case? They're shooting 76% from the free throw line this season. The school record is 73.8% way back in 1983. So on pace to shatter that if they keep it going.
Here's another level of havoc. You're talking about what they call their diamond havoc, where they're looking to trap the first pass. Now they're trying to speed the offense up a little bit and try to get them to make plays that they're not able to make at that speed.
For the opponent, Seth, how do you attack it, though? How do you attack havoc to be successful?
There's different layers of the pressure. So, I mean, if they're not trapping the first pass, all right, then you're clearing, and then if you get trapped, you're coming back to the ball. If they're trapping the first pass, right, you've got to try to attack that to score on 2 passes. If not, dictate the shot, just like, say, Bonaventure did right there.
How about Jalen Attaway tonight? 11 points on 4 of 6 from the field. And we are tied at 13.
And this is really important. You talk about with Holmes out of the game, you need someone to step up and be more aggressive. Attaway is just, he's aggressive. He has the ability to not settle, but to get to the rim, create a little separation, knock down that big shot. This game is built for Attaway because he's a downhill player that gets to the rim.
Second foul on Welch for St. Bonaventure. And you've got 3 guys with 2 personal fouls already now. Welch, Holmes, and Vasquez. Substitutions here for VCU.
And Mike, we talked about it. This is huge because if you can get into St. Bonaventure's bench, look at the number of minutes their starters play compared to the number of minutes that VCU starters play. I mean, getting into their bench, now all of a sudden you're getting inexperienced players. It is really important they keep Lofton out of foul trouble.
No, it's a great point. They go about 8 deep, but all 5 starters normally play over 30 minutes a ball game. You see it right there for St. Bonaventure. And a foul as Lofton heads to the rim.
That is such a good play by Lofton. You read advantage, disadvantage. When you're getting pressured and you're in attack mode, you read advantage, disadvantage. He gets his shoulders by the defender. You got to stop him earlier. He uses the rim to protect himself and finish at the rim. Lofton struggled shooting a 3-point shot, but at the end of the games, he'll make shots. But his ability to have all different types of ways to finish. The best guards can finish a lot of different ways. He's got all different kinds of layups.
Tied up at 15 here. Coming up on 8 minutes, Bones Hyland. Now for Corey Douglas. Offensive foul.
And Mike, that's a scatter report charge right there. First of all, on the side, they kept the ball on the side of the basket, but on that catch, the scatter report said Douglas is strong right-handed. You sit on his right hand, you move your feet, you stay between the ball and the basket, and you take the charge. Really good job of digesting a scouting report. And that goes back to having experienced players. That especially in a pandemic where you have limited practice time, and all of a sudden now, you guys have to really understand what you're trying to do within that scouting report.
And Douglas missed the last game and turned an ankle a couple of times, and now is back in action for VCU. That's his first foul. Lofton, Vasquez for 3. Oh, what a follow put in by Dominic Welch. Heads up.
Dominic Welch known for his 3-point shoot, and that guy can flat light it up, but get into the glass. Terrific job. Right now, VCU is going to say it over and over again. You cannot follow the flight of the basketball.
Welcome back. 2-point lead for St. Bonaventure. Seth, our Saturday selections. Big weekend coming up. Let's start with the game you want to see. Indiana and number 4, Ohio State. How do you see that one shaping up?
Big Ten games are just different. It's an Indiana and Ohio State team. They both take care of the basketball. They're both rebound the basketball, but this is an Indiana team that tries to dominate you in the paint. Ohio State, on the other hand, a terrific post-defensive team. They do a great job of protecting the paint. Ohio State is efficient offensively in terms of they've got floor gamers and playmakers all over the floor.
5 wins in a row for Ohio State. Remember, Indiana's beat Iowa twice this year. Underdog pick. Who do you have? Let's go 2 in a row.
Yeah, North Carolina, Virginia, I say they cover. I'm not sure they're going to win, but I think they're going to cover. But surely they need to win this basketball game. They need a quality win. And this is a Virginia team right now that is finding ways to win. Had a tough game against Georgia Tech, but closed it out. They are really an efficient offensive team that inverts their offense, and that's going to be the problem for North Carolina. The North Carolina bigs, will they be able to guard Sam Hauser and Jay Huff out on the floor? That's something to watch in that game.
Yeah, North Carolina has not beat a team that is currently in the top 20 in the country so far this year. Vince Williams ties this game at 17, just under 8 minutes to go first half. Mike Corey, Seth Greenberg with you tonight. Our Atlantic 10 Friday Night Basketball Showcase, number 1 versus number 2. Bodies in first, trying to stay that way with a win. If not, VCU jumps them with a victory here tonight.
Yeah, but this league is really deep. This league, obviously, St. Bonaventure and VCU are at the top of the conference, but you look at Davidson and how difficult they are to play against, and Kellen Grady, and you look at UMass, who's on a pause right now. You look at Richmond with that win over Kentucky and Gilliard, and how hard he is just to get the ball over half court. Dayton has a tremendous rich tradition. And then we're not even talking about St. Louis. St. Louis right now, they've only played 4 games in league play, but, they're a dynamic team with a win over NC State. This league, every single game, if you don't play well, you're not going to win. The league is really good top to bottom.
Rejected by Oshuniyi on the offering that time from Levi Stockard, and it's into the hands now of Lofton. Lofton for Attaway.
Attaway, that's what I'm talking about. Here's the deal, man. If you can't guard Lofton and keep him out of the lane, you got an issue. And right now, Lofton is getting in the lane, getting paint punches, moving the defense for VCU, and then Attaway is the recipient. You've got to guard the ball, contain the ball. Mike Rhodes will definitely address that at halftime.
Coach, he's 5 or 7 from the field. The rest of the team is 2 of 12 thus far in this first half.
Mike, the dude is looking down at the rim at 4 of the 5.
Some high percentage shots, to say the least. Here is Jameer Watkins now in the corner. A 3, and it is good by Vince Williams as the shot clock goes off. Now they're going to go check it on the made 3 to see if it is good. Or we see 20-19. It looked like a 3. First one, did he get it off? And 2, is it a 3 or a 2? So you can check that on a made basket. His foot is on the line. It's actually a 2.
It's a 2.
If it's good, if he got it off in time, it's only a 2. We'd be tied at 19.
When talking about Mike Rhodes, about Vince Williams, he said he's just a basketball player, that he has a great feel. He can pass it, he can shoot it, he has a middle game. He's got toughness, he rebounds the ball. He's just got a really good feel for the game. And that's so important with this young basketball team, to have someone that can kind of pull them all together, more of a mistake-free type player.
It would be tied at 19 if he was able to get the basket off in time as they take a look at it. How about Attaway? You've been talking about him for St. Bonaventure. 13 points thus far and 5 of 7 from the field.
This dude needs to have his own highlight package because he's doing it every which way. A little runner in the lane, no problem. His ability to get to the offensive glass, that's a hustle play. Shot fake, a little step back, fade, create separation. Oh, by the way, meet him at the rim and he will punch it on your head. Attaway's been absolutely terrific, and you can see his maturity, his physicality, his athleticism, and his toughness.
What else did Coach Schmidt tell us this past week, especially from beating VCU in that comeback win in the first game? What was his main keys to trying to do it again here and sweep the season series?
The most important thing he said, he didn't want to play on their heels, that they wanted to play downhill. Here's that play over again. You can see he's inside the line. We cannot see the clock. Obviously, it would have counted at that point. I wonder if we have another angle on that. But the most important thing, when you play VCU, you've got to take care of the basketball. All right, so you got to meet your passes, run the ball in your hand, be strong with the ball. You cannot play on your heels. If you play on your heels, then that havoc gets more aggressive. That's just the way it is. You know, you've got to be strong and physical with the basketball. And then if they blitz your ball screens, you've got to make them pay. And blitz means trap your ball screens. If you trap your ball screens, you got to hit the short roll, and he's got to become the playmaker.
Tough to see where the clock is and the shot clock from that angle.
And Bonaventure's done a much better job in the last 6 minutes taking care of the basketball. They had 5 turnovers, but 6, and just had their six in the last possession. We're getting all kinds of great stats here. Unfortunately, I'm not smart enough to understand the hieroglyphics that we're receiving, being that I am in Bristol, Connecticut, and you're in your home, and everyone's a little bit aware of everyone. And now Mike Rhodes is going to help with the shot clock situation right here. And he's dealing with right there. That's Roger Ayers, who I think is the best official in college basketball.
I agree with you. Yep.
He's a great play caller, number one, and he's a tremendous communicator.
He's definitive with his calls, too. And he speaks to the coaches, and he keeps them informed of what's going on. And right there, he just said, you know what? No basket. That's what we decided. So he didn't get the shot off in time. It stays 19-17 right now in favor of St. Bonaventure. And now there is a foul. And let's see who's called for this one.
I'm not sure if it was a foul, a carry. Because the ball's going VCU's direction, left side. And Coach Smith now would like, he must have pushed off with his hand.
Yeah, it's a second personal
right hand
foul.
if we can see that. That's an issue.
4 players now for St. Bonaventure each have 2 personal fouls. It was Holmes that picked up his second personal foul very early in the game, and he has yet to come back in. And he's been on the bench since just over the 16-minute mark. Here is Watkins. Works his way in, and what a drive by the freshman, Jameer Watkins.
And now you saw St. Bonaventure, because of Lofton's 2 fouls, go to a 2-3 zone, but you still have to defend the basketball, keep it in front, and contain the basketball. And I really like Watkins' game. I think that good size, good length, good skill level. He is only going to get better. And, you know, how do you build a program at VCU? We talked about how you build a program at St. Bonaventure. Big-time shot right there by Watkins. It was that Baldwin, actually.
Baldwin knocks that one down. 3-point lead now for VCU.
Well, you build a program at VCU by being able to recruit your geographic footprint. To do that, you've got to develop relationships with not only the high school coaches, but the youth and grassroots programs in that geographic footprint. And Mike Rhodes has an incredible relationship with the guys that run Team Takeover and Bull Williams and Team Final and Team Durant. And those relationships enable you to have an opportunity to recruit the best players in their programs.
Meanwhile, for the Bonnies, Adaway continuing to go off here tonight. 15 of the 21 St. Bonaventure points. Now the pass inside, and no good there on the shot. Stockard from point-blank range at a foul on the rebound as Williams got it. And Vasquez with his 3rd personal foul. And again, college basketball tomorrow. We got a ton of games. We've talked about it a little already. Indiana and Ohio State. That's going to start at noon Eastern on ESPN. Then how important is this matchup here, Coach? Number 16, Tennessee and LSU. Many people don't know. They're both in a 3-way tie right now in 2nd place in the SEC behind Alabama. And they're both at 7-4. So that's a big matchup there between those two at 2 o'clock.
It's a big matchup in the SEC, but it's also Tennessee is starting to get better. Springer and Johnson have been really, really good. They've had, between them, they've had 91 points in their last 2 games. Tennessee's starting to get a little bit more of an identity offensively. You know they're the lead defensive team. On the other hand, LSU, they can score it. They're just not very interested in defending all the time. It'll be interesting to see what happens in that game.
Williams has 6 points for VCU. He's 4 for 4 at the foul line as Welch knocks down a 3-ball. So you've seen the versatility in his game. The dunk earlier and now a 3-ball, and we're tied at 24.
Yeah, and scatter report says you've got to run Welch off the 3-point line. He's one of the best 3-point shooters in the Atlantic 10. You got to make him put the ball on the floor.
Stockard's missed a couple inside, and a rebound by Oshuniyi. And a stoppage here with 4:05 to go first half.
O'Shuney just got
hit in the face.
I think he got hit right. Right there.
Yeah, right there on the face that time by Levi Stockard.
He's a tough guy. Play on. Let's go. We can't afford. We're running out of dudes on the bench if you're Mark Schmidt now. I mean, we got to just go out and play. I mean, right now, if you think about all the foul trouble St. Bonaventure's getting into, and thinking about they're usually going to play only 7 or 8 guys, minimal amount for those 3 that don't usually play the major minutes, he's got to be very happy with where they are. Now, here's the key. As a coach, how do you close out this half? The last 4 minutes of this half for both teams. Who can impose their identity and their will on the other?
What job that Rhodes's done with the program since he's taken over as a head coach. It's no surprise to me because he's the best assistant coach I ever worked with. And really, in a lot of ways, he was like a head coach even during those 5 years. VCU is now Mike Rhodes, his passion, his toughness, his work ethic, his character, and it's pretty fun to watch the direction it's going.
Those two had just an incredible relationship. What they were able to do together and the respect that each had for each other. And Shaka Smart is one of the great human beings in our business, and he and Mike Rhodes were an impossible combination to coach against, to recruit against, and the success that they had was unparalleled. And I think the biggest thing is when Mike took over the program, when he became the head coach, he inherited a tough situation, but he's fixed it by bringing back havoc, by bringing back the core values and non-negotiables that VCU basketball stands for and stood for under Shaka Smart.
Well, and next year the fans will be back as well, too, and that's really going to add to it, so look out. The three-pointer was made by Bones Hyland to put VCU on top by 3, turnover on the Bonnies. And, yeah, I like what he has said, and he tells it how it is. I mean, he's really down to earth, and, we asked him, Coach, and you did, about, is this year worth it? Is this worth it? He said, I appreciate everyone trying to make it worth it because it's been hard. I mean, it's been hard at times. It's hard for everybody. They test 4 times a week. Everyone has been staying pretty well, pretty healthy and safe, and it's a difficult season to navigate through, that's for sure.
It is difficult, and I think Mike's leadership and Mike's, the way he carries himself and the things that he does. I mean, think about this. The players live right across the street in their apartments. All right, they're either in their apartment studying or doing what you're supposed to do. They're back in the practice facility. They actually bought a sanitizing machine so that, daily they go through the practice facility. Every other day they go through the kids' apartments to make sure that they can do everything they can to navigate playing the basketball season, going to school, and having as normal a lifestyle as possible within a pandemic. Mike Rhodes is just a tremendous coach and a tremendous person.
Attaway's got the rock. He's got 15 points tonight for St. Bonaventure. And a whistle and a foul. And it's going to be on Kyle Lofton. Tough first half for him here, Coach. 3rd personal foul, only 2 points, and he's got to go out here for the final 2:07.
Yeah, and that is a really tough foul, and you can see what VCU is trying to do. They're trying to deny every cut, every drive. They're basically up and underneath him, and he has reacted to that. So now, once again, you're looking at this St. Bonaventure team. Who's going to run the point? Can they take care of the basketball? They're in this zone, and VCU's had great success in packing this zone.
Hyland for 3, and that's off. And tipped, though, and rebounded by Ace Baldwin, the freshman. And he's rejected by O'Shuney with 16 on the shot clock for VCU, up by 3. 2 blocks today already.
Terrific job right there by Shunji. Right here. Watch it, being alert off the basketball, seeing the play, good timing, staying away from the foul. And all of a sudden, Holmes is in the game. So Holmes has got 2 fouls because you need another ball handler in the floor. And you'll also see now St. Bonaventure going back to that man-to-man. Look for VCU to try to attack Holmes, make him guard.
Haven't seen him for a good 14 minutes. Went out over 16 minutes to go in this first half. Now Hyland reversing and gets the 2.
And right there, Bones Hyland gets matched up with Holmes, and what does he do? He goes right at him, attacks the rim. Holmes cannot afford to foul. You can't guard yourself by picking up that 3rd foul.
Big drought here for St. Bonaventure. No points in the last 4.5 minutes, and a steal. And Hyland behind his back for Ward.
Bonnie's needs a timeout right here.
Coming up at the half for the E-Trade halftime report, Kevin Connors, Sean Farnham, and LaFonso Ellis break down tomorrow's big matchups. You'll hear from Gonzaga star Jalen Suggs, the freshman. All that and more coming up at the E-Trade halftime report. All right, 5 turnovers in the last 9 possessions for St. Bonaventure. Seth, what's going on here?
Yeah, right now you're going to see pressure increased. Obviously, they're going to extend their defense, try to speed up this St. Bonaventure team. They're playing without their point guard, their leader, their play starter, their playmaker. Look for VCU right now to come back and backtrap this possession.
And a foul on Watkins. They almost had it. They're in the midst of a 7-0 run right now for the last 3 minutes and 40 seconds.
Now, you look at this, Mike, you think about this first game. I mean, VCU dominated the first half. I mean, absolutely dominated the first half. They were up 15 points. But at the start of the second half, all of a sudden, St. Bonaventure took better care of the basketball, put VCU on their heels, made better decisions, hurt them with the short roll. Now, here's the deal. The last time these two teams played, Lofton didn't have 3 fouls. Holmes didn't have 3 fouls. How St. Bonaventure navigates their foul trouble at the beginning of the second half will be pivotal for this game.
Well, they needed a lot of minutes there from Vasquez, who's at the free throw line, and now makes it a 5-point game. And you called it a 40-25 lead at the half for VCU, back up at St. Bonaventure on January 20th. As Watkins misses, Bonnie's to the rebound, but then they got outscored 45-14 in the second half. And now on the drive, Welch could not convert. Rebound, Ward. At about a 7-second differential.
That's like a turnover, Mike, because first of all, VCU went 2 for 1, went quick, and then got the possession back. But the pressure, just the pressure, makes you play a little bit faster and dictates the shot you take.
Five to shoot. Hyland for 3. It was a long one. It got tipped, and the ball rebounded on the offensive end, and the drive not there. Another follow, count it. And VCU right before the end of the half on the follow from Douglas, now leaded by 7.
50-50 ball, good job. Ace Baldwin picks it up, gets it on the rim, and a problem that Mark Schmidt's going to have with this is if you always see 3 brown shirts in this play. Those guys have got to come back, get into play, and rebound the basketball.
VCU ends the half on a 9-2 run. 3 fouls on Vasquez, 3 on Lofton, 12 total team fouls in that first half for St. Bonaventure. And we talked a lot about that first matchup and how things went different in the second half. Let's see what happens here.
The maturity of St. Bonaventure's got to step up right now, but they've got to stay out of foul trouble. You cannot play without Lofton, so you see they're going to open up a little 2-3 zone. In this 2-3 zone, they must rebound the basketball. They still got to contain the ball off the bounce.
And the inside turnaround from Stockard gets the second half underway for VCU, and they continue the run, 35-26.
A nice job of going right inside. You face the zone doesn't mean you're going to settle to shoot a jump shot. What you're going to do is you're going to probe the defense and dictate the shot you're going to shoot.
Another takeaway, second lowest output of this season for the half for St. Bonaventure as a 3 is off by Baldwin. The offensive rebound is there and put back up and in by Williams.
And that last offensive possession for St. Bonaventure, they just get sped up by the defensive pressure. They don't have good floor balance. They drive it too deep. They don't have passing lanes. This is a better execution right there. Dribble penetration, throw back.
And finally, Oshun Oshunyi is on the scoreboard, Coach. He was 0 for 3 in the first half. He didn't have any points, and neither did Jaron Holmes, and they both averaged a combined 26 a ball game.
Yeah, they've got all 5 starters that average in double figures. One of the few teams in college basketball that do. But that last possession, instead of taking it too deep, Lofton did a good job of dragging the trap of the ball screen, throwing back, and then making the play.
Nobody covered Stockard again. And Williams on the assist.
Love what Mike Rhodes is doing. He sees the zone. He says, you know what? We're going to dictate the shot. We're not going to settle. We're going to move the ball, and we're going to get the shot we want.
Now it's Holmes for his first points of the night, and he knocks down a three.
And Mike Rhodes is going to call timeout off of this because on that short roll right there, what happened was that's what got St. Bonaventure in the game on the first contest. Short roll created a wide-open three-point shot by Rhodes.
Actually, it's going to be a technical foul called here on Holmes right after the three-pointer, so that's not good. And now he picks up his third personal foul, and it's exactly the opposite of what you need after making a big three and already being in foul trouble. And Hyland has 2 free throws coming here.
Why, though? Here's my question. Why? All right, like here, you're trying to get back in the game. You get a good offensive possession. You don't turn it over. The ball went into the middle. You relocated on the short roll. You knocked down a shot. You've been struggling all game. Now you just defend yourself. You don't expect that from a junior.
Right. And he has to go right back to the bench. Second half kind of starting the way the first half did for him, not on the court. And he picked up 2 early fouls. He hits a three-pointer here for his first points, and now he heads right back to the sideline. It's a 10-point lead for VCU, and he joins Lofton and Vasquez with 3 fouls in this game. Again inside, the tip is good after the miss from Stockard, and it's going to be Ward that gets credit for it. Attaway's been the lone bright spot for St. Bonaventure tonight. He's got a game-high 17 points.
I love what VCU is doing against this zone. They're being patient, they're poised, they're moving the ball, and they're dictating the shots. So Bodies goes back man.
Ward misses on the alley-oop try. Lofton, count the basket, and he's fouled. And he's done that a few times tonight, Coach. I know you'd like that. When they need a bucket, he's taking it to the hole.
Well, he's the guy that has to go make a play. Straight line drive. Poor job of VCU keeping the ball in front. He gets low, avoids the charge. And right there, that's a situation where Ward's got to step up, get an angle, and take a charge as opposed to try to contest that shot at the rim. Look at the difference in his productivity first half, second half. And that's what I mean about Lofton. I mean, Lofton's a guy that understands. He's the heart and soul of this team, and they will respond to him. So he's got to be poised, he's got to make good decisions, and he's got to make good choices.
Williams gets a step, doesn't finish, and got his own rebound for the moment. It's kicked over to Hyland for 3. Another offensive board, and Stockard has been cleaning them up inside here to start this second half.
Second possession where they're getting beat on the boards, beat to 50-50 balls. I mean, right now, St. Bonaventure, you've got to make the tough plays. The tough plays, when the ball goes up, find someone, cut them out. The tough plays is guards come back and rebound the basketballs.
Vasquez, who's seen extended minutes here tonight with a foul trouble for St. Bonaventure, goes to the free throw line as his team is down by 10.
Shot goes up, and look at Stockard, just front of the rim. No one puts a body on him, and he finishes. And you know, that's really good offense. One of the things when you're running offense, and that was a scramble situation, you want to put your rebounders in position to rebound the basketballs. And you want to make sure your people get up in the air and pursue the ball.
Yeah, Stockard's name sounds familiar, and for St. Bonaventure fans, his cousin is Courtney Stockard, who played over there a couple years ago at St. Bonaventure, was a first-team All-Atlantic 10 selection, who's playing over in Germany right now. And so that's a connection there. Levi Stockard II and his cousin, Courtney Stockard, former St. Bonaventure Bonnie from a couple years ago. Really good guy, good player too, and continues his career overseas.
Yeah, and Stockard's a guy that, as a senior, can come back next year and play for VCU. And speaking with Coach Rhodes actually said that he came to him this week and said, you know, Coach, I love it here. This has been a great experience. I love everything about being here, and I want to come back, which is that new rule is going to really be interesting to watch as the season goes along.
Well, we said it a lot in college basketball this year. If you don't know, you get the year back. So if you're a junior, you can return next year as a junior. And for seniors, they can come back again. So it's all depends on what they want to do. And a steal here for VCU as Hyland takes it into the bucket.
Right now, St. Bonaventure is reacting to the pressure of VCU. Right, they're not handling the ball and making decisions. They're reacting to the defense. And that's really what the mindset of havoc is. It's to impose your identity on your opponent.
Well, that was Stockard again trying to impose his will inside. Missed three on the way by Williams. Another offensive rebound. Hyland for three. And a foul on the rebound. And it's going to take us to a timeout.
He is not afraid of the big moment or the big shot.
All right, so stay tuned. All that and more coming up tomorrow on College Game Day at 11 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. That's how you get your college basketball Saturday started. And we're getting your weekend started here tonight on our Friday night Atlantic 10 basketball showcase. Number 1, St. Bonaventure. Number 2, VCU in the A10. Right now, the Rams lead it by 11. And a rebound by Oshuniyi for St. Bonaventure.
St. Bonaventure coming out, playing a little man-to-man that time. Better job of cutting people out and blocking out on that shot. They've got to rebound the ball, limit their turnovers, and they've got to have good possessions. They don't have to play that fast. Just got to get a good shot every possession down the floor.
Holmes is back in for St. Bonaventure, number 5. Had the three-pointer for his only points to start the second half. Knocked out of his hands. Lofton, the shot clock at 1, and bailed out and fouled by Hyland of VCU.
That's cagey vet right there. I mean, that's what it is. Shot clock's running down. Watched a little shot fake just to lift Bones Hyland up in the air, and then he just draws the foul. Little boom shot fake just to draw a little bit of that contact. Hyland overruns the play. It's plays like those, Mike, that can give you a chance to get back in the game. You make 3 free throws. It's an 8-point game. Now you've got to be solid. Like St. Bonaventure right now, they're playing too fast. You want to be aggressive. You want to play downhill against pressure, yes. But you've also got to read advantage, disadvantage. If not, then compete on the offensive end of the floor. Move the defense, set good screens, cut hard, and get the shot you want.
Here's a look at the second half comparison to Game 1 when VCU played at St. Bonaventure on January 20th. They've already made more field goals here in the second half. We've only played 5.5 minutes, and they did all of the second half in Game 1.
Yeah, I remember talking to Mike Rhodes the last few days, and he talked about when St. Bonaventure punched them back, they didn't respond. And he didn't review the film with his team. What he did was he sat down with his team and showed them their body language, the type of teammates they were, how they reacted to turnovers, how they reacted to their opponents, the technicals they got. He said because those are the things that enabled St. Bonaventure to get back in the game. St. Bonaventure get back in the game byproduct of how they responded to the adversity. So he used it as a teaching moment. He said he didn't even raise his voice at all in the film session.
That was a 5-second violation on the inbound, so it turns it over to St. Bonaventure with just over 14 minutes to go and a 9-point deficit. Lofton for Holmes. Stays with his own runner. And contact there, no call. Rebound coming down to Williams for VCU.
Now, Mike, you said contact. You had a foul on that play?
I don't know. There was contact, but could have been okay with a no call. I'm a pro official, you know that. I'm always pro officials until you really see it.
If I was Coach Schmidt, I probably would have been begging for the foul, too.
Rebound Attaway. Three-pointer. On the way and good by Dominic Welch, and he nails it to make it a 6-point game. Bodies on the comeback trail.
Nice and poised, got his feet underneath him. Late closeout on Welsh. On Welsh, you've got to make him put it on the floor. Flat scatter report is close out hard, close out long, and then let's give help behind.
Ball inside is Williams trying to get it into the interior to Ward, and there's a tie-up, but it's a jump. And it's going to be St. Bonaventure possession on the arrow. So they have it with a 6-point deficit, and they've chipped away here with just under 13 minutes to go in the game.
If you take care of the ball and you don't turn it over and you make the extra pass, then all of a sudden you're going to get the shot you want. If you turn it over, then all of a sudden VCU has an advantage because they're playing ahead of the defense and they're going to score it. Watch a set play right now. There's going to be some type of misdirection right here. Watch Lofton now. He's cutting through the basket. You're going to see him probably get it back. There you go, off a handoff.
Yeah, he has it. You saw Coach Schmidt looking down at his sheet there as Lofton misses on the three. It's almost like he would make a great offensive coordinator in football, don't you think? With probably all the plays and stuff he has.
He's got 1,000 plays, and that is a great job on that high trail ball screen by, I think that was Bones Hyland.
It was, and he's got 17 points now and pushes the lead back up to 9.
Hyland's so good because they play 2 point guards. See, they play this ball with and Bones, so you have 2 play starters and playmakers, which takes so much pressure off of both of them. And then in transition, if you're not up on those ball screens, guy's going to knock that jumper down.
Welch misses the three. Ball's knocked away, and Lofton has it, and he's fouled. And Attaway is banged up. He was going for that loose ball, and he got hit. Welcome back. VCU on top by 9. Mike Corey, Seth Greenberg, and now from the bracket bunker, Joe Lenardi. Hey, we got John. What's going on, Joe? Great to see you, man.
Guys, it's just great to be part of a college basketball game.
Hey, let's get into it. Atlantic 10, VCU 36 in the net, St. Bonaventure 39. This game doesn't really hurt either team, depending on whatever the outcome is, right? And then who else do you have making a push for the tournament in this conference this year?
Well, here's a couple things I think we all need to understand about the A10. First of all, there hasn't been a multi-bid league impacted by COVID the way this conference has been, particularly Richmond and St. Louis, who were the consensus 2 top teams before the year began. And they are just on the outside looking in today. They're still scheduled to play. They may play a second time if the league can work it out. If you had voted on next year's Atlantic 10, it wouldn't surprise me if VCU and the Bonnies were picked. So essentially, you've got the equivalent of 4 first-place teams all in contention for at-large bids. They're all going to beat each other up, just like happens in the other multi-bid conferences. And that's why I believe a majority can and will go on Selection Sunday.
Joe, what do you think of Davidson? I mean, Davidson played some really good games. They played Texas to a 2-point game. They've had some good wins. They've got a dynamic backcourt, obviously, Kellen Grady. Are they in the conversation?
They're in the conversation, but I would call them, the bubble of the bubble. Seth, you're the expert on the real bubble. They're
Thanks,
the ones
Joe.
on the next bubble. So I think Davidson is in a situation where, again, they need to win up games, teams above them, to move the needle and join those top 4.
How about, you just mentioned something about teams that are on pause. Like, how do you think the committee is going to look at, like, say, a Michigan who's been on pause, or teams that came off pause and struggled when they first came off pause, but now are playing better? So, I mean, like, there's so many unbalanced schedules. How do you think the committee is going to evaluate that?
I almost think it's going to be so widespread that it may need to be largely ignored. Other than an obvious case of a St. Louis, missing over a month and then losing to LaSalle. Or, Richmond being out for a while. Or who knows how Michigan's going to look on Sunday against Wisconsin. You, coach, if you're off for a month and you can't even be in the gym, your conditioning, your sharpness, your shooting, it can't be right. But it's happening across America in all conferences. So the committee members might just have to apply some common sense and say, hey, we're going to tweak this a little bit, but fundamentally, it's the same deal. Who'd you play? Who'd you beat?
It's an 11-3 run, making it an 11-4 run right now for St. Bonaventure as they're trying to claw their way back. We're talking with Joe Lenardi, our bracketologist here. And, Joe, that's the thing. There's going to be so many teams, right? They're going to have their own case and their own special reasoning behind why they should be considered. I mean, it's going to be really difficult, and there's going to be a lot of talk, I'm sure, when the whole field is finally put together.
Well, I think, a classic example would be like a Drake, right? 19-1, and they're coming up on this huge weekend against the Loyola Chicago, Saturday and Sunday. And then, like a Maryland or a Penn State who have terrific wins, but a majority of losses. They're under 500, not just in their league, the Big Ten, but overall. So, what do you do if you're a committee member and you're looking at Drake and you're looking at Maryland? right? I think if the two played on a neutral court, Maryland would be favored. But at some point, we have to consider the fact that they kept score for 20 games, and Drake won 19 of them and is ranked in the top 25. So I would lean to Drake. Somebody else might lean to Maryland. And that's why we're all going to watch on Selection Sunday.
So as the committee comes out with their top 16, Joe, tomorrow, we're going to come out with our own on game day. But as they come out to this top 16, what do you think? Because I know you try to project what they're thinking and what they're going to say. What's going to be the biggest surprise in their announcement tomorrow?
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a surprise, but the one potential, and this would be a big-time tell for other decisions they'll make in a month, down the ballot, if you will. Michigan has been stuck on 3 quad 1 wins now for 3 weeks, and everybody is passing them. They're like the race car in pit row while everybody else is going full speed around the track. If they drop Michigan because of quantity or a lack thereof and not respect their quality, that will surprise me, but it will also be something that we'll have to adjust to.
Joe, who would you put above them, though? I'm I think this is the most clear cut. 1 through 3, in a lot of ways, has separated themselves. Then you can say, well, is it Ohio State? Is it Villanova? Is it Houston, who I don't think, because, that ECU loss eliminates them. I think 3 of them kind of separate themselves. The next 3 after that, that's the one that is kind of going to get interesting. I think the 4th number 1 and then the 4 number 2s.
Yeah, and I don't even think there'll be a surprise there with the 4th number 1. Ohio State and Illinois on paper, in terms of resume, are nearly identical, but Ohio State won at Illinois. So to me, that's an easy tie to break. And then, the ones that we just saw, that's what the committee's going to do tomorrow. The 2s that we saw, I don't think there are going to be a lot of surprises. There are maybe 3 or 4 teams competing for the last spot or 2 on the 4th line. Missouri, Oklahoma, Wisconsin come to mind. I think a sleeper possibility is Southern Cal, which has some terrific numbers and is playing great basketball right now. Maybe one of them will sneak in and surprise us. But generally, this early reveal is much ado about nothing, because unlike in college football where they give us the top 4 and then sit for a week, some of these teams are going to be playing while the reveal is being conducted and changing their position. So it's great for talk, and we'll see you in a month.
Joe, thanks so much, man. Hey, we got to leave you with this. So congrats on your new book coming out March 2nd, March Madness, College Basketball and the Creation of a National Obsession. I pre-ordered my copy on Amazon, and you got the foreword by Mark Few. So how about that? We got 256 pages. I can't wait to read this thing coming up.
Well, it's living proof, Mike, that you don't have to be able to read a book to write one.
Just crunch numbers.
Joe, we'll
very
talk
few
to you
numbers.
again.
Very few numbers and lots of pictures, Seth, just for you.
Exactly. Thank you.
We'll talk to you again next week, man. Thanks so much.
You bet.
Joe Lenardi, our bracketologist here on our Friday night game of the week. As Oshuni puts it in to make it a 2-point game, and he's got 9 points.
Mike, they are pounding that thing into the paint. And what would we say? Advantage, disadvantage? They found their advantage in the paint, and they're running offense and dictating the shot in the half court.
3 ball on the way, not there by Watkins. Rebound, Bonnies. 2-point game, under 9 minutes to go, second half.
Here's a challenge for VCU. You've been here before. You've seen this movie before. How are you going to react to it? Are you going to now just bow your neck and be solid and get stops and keep it in front and rebound the ball and execute? Are you going to take good shots, limit the Bonaventure to 1 shot? Let's see how they handle, not just physically, but mentally.
Lofton for Oshuni. And redirected and taken away by Williams. Up the floor, and it got knocked out of the hands of Stockard. And it'll stay with VCU. You just mentioned Lenardi's book coming out with Mark Few, who wrote the foreword. How about what Gonzaga, has done under his leadership? I mean, it has been unreal, the job that Mark Few and Gonzaga You know, look what they've done. I mean, his 22nd season, an 83% winning percentage. I mean, Coach, 31-plus wins in 6 of the last 8 years. Could this be the year, finally, for the Gonzaga team that cuts down the nets?
The two teams that separate themselves are Baylor and Gonzaga. I mean, they're just different. The Baylor on the defensive end with terrific guard play, and Gonzaga with the flow they play with offensively, how they share the basketball, and the number of different guys that can make a play. I think Corey Kisper's got to be in the conversation for Player of the Year along with Garza. I just feel that way. So Mark Few's done an incredible job. He stays true to his culture. He stays true to how he's trying to build the program and his non-negotiables.
Baldwin makes it a 4-point game. The runner is not there, and remanded by Hyland for VCU as they lead by 4. Williams on the take and goes right by Oshuniyi to throw it down. And a technical is called, and it's going to be on Williams after the dunk. It's Mike Corey, Seth Greenberg. Thanks for joining us here tonight as the Bonnies are led by Attaway with 17 points, Welch with 10. And here's a look at the VCU leading scorers with Hyland and Williams, and they're 17 and 10 here tonight. Coach, what do you think?
Yeah, Bones Hyland, he's the guy they're going to play through. There's no doubt about it. The ball's in his hands, and he's made really good decisions, made some big shots. And Williams is a guy that, as we know, Coach Rhodes really feels the game is just easy to him. He's a high basketball IQ guy. He can shoot it. He can put it on the floor. He's got a middle game. So the two leaders of this team need to step up. You got to remember, this is a young basketball team. They only have 2 seniors on the roster. Stockard's a guy that's going to probably end up coming back a year from now. You're talking about 8 freshmen and sophomores, so you need leadership, and the leadership's coming from Hyland and Williams.
Williams for VCU got called for the technical, hanging on the rim after the dunk and slapping the backboard. The missed free throw there by Lofton. And now they have it here on the offensive end, down by 6.
It's a big possession for St. Bonaventure. They're going to try to really move the ball, get the right shot.
Welch for 3, no. Rebound Oshuniyi, and now Holmes has it. He's been dealing with foul trouble all night, him and Lofton. Holmes and Lofton kept in check.
That's just a bad shot.
Take it away, yep.
That's just a bad. That's Holmes frustrated, settling on shooting that shot instead of saying, we got it back, we got 20 seconds, let's move the ball, let's dictate the shot, let's move the defense some.
3 of 10 shooting combined between Holmes and Lofton. They've got 10 points, but they're 3 of 10 from the field. And 1 for 4 from 3-point range. Hyland for 3. Oh, the follow! Throwing it down, Corey Douglas.
That is a big-time offensive rebound. Nice job of handing it back off the little ball screen and the dribble handoff, and a great job of Corey Douglas getting to the glass.
Ball is ripped away now by Hyland from Attaway, and he is called for the foul. That's going to be his 4th.
Watch right here. Bones Hyland shoots the ball. He does not put a body on Douglas, and he just goes right to the front of the rim. Ball goes up. You can't follow the flight of the ball. If you're a defender defensive, that thing goes up, you've got to find your man, put a forearm in his chest, cut him out, and then go rebound the ball. You follow the flight of the ball, and you're going to give up an offensive rebound.
3rd on Attaway, not his 4th for St. Bonaventure. Down by 8 here. Oh, another great feed inside. Counts a basket. It's Hassan Ward and a chance at a 3-point play.
That is just pretty good basketball right there. Coming off of that ball screen, what do? You read all 5 defenders, don't tag the roller right there. Good job of Ace coming off the screen. He's reading the weak side defender. If they don't tag the roll, you hit the roller, there's Ward with a bucket. That's a freshman making that play. And that's why I say all the time that Baltimore guards are just different. They have incredible feel for the game.
Yeah, Baldwin, the freshman out of Baltimore, as you said, with the assist. And that's an 8-0 run now by VCU after it was cut down to a 2-point game. Here's your foul trouble for the Bonnies.
Hey, Mike, you never know who's going to be watching these games. I just got a text message from Walter Griffin. He's a Blacksburg High School kid that played golf at VCU, touring pro for the PGAs, won a golf tournament in PGAs, had a great year. And he is so loyal to these VCU Rams. He loves his school, and he's tuned in, and he's checking out the Rams.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Attaway on the jumper. The Rams trying to knock out St. Bonaventure and even the season series here this year. And it would put VCU in first place in the Atlantic 10 if they can get the win tonight. Flip-flop spots with the Bonnies. Three-pointer on the way. No good. Follow again. Ward tipped around. Out of bounds to St. Bonaventure. We've got a huge lineup for you tomorrow. North Carolina and Virginia, they're going to square off at 6 p.m. This is our primetime lineup, if you will. Then followed up the Warriors and the Nets. Steph Curry has hit 32 or more points in his last 4 straight games. That's at ABC at 8:30. And then it's UFC 258. Kamaru Usman against Gilbert Burns. That is our lineup primetime tomorrow. Don't miss that on Saturday night.
But when you wake up to College Game Day at 11 o'clock. That's the way to set the table, man. You set the table at College Game Day. You get all the bad picks we make. You can make fun of them we're wrong. All right, and then you watch the games all day.
Oshuniyi in the block, and that is going to be a goaltend on Hassan Ward. It was on its way down, so it's a 6-point game now, 4:32 remaining.
Yeah, there's no doubt this is a goaltend right here. Weak side. A little bit late. If you're going to come and double the post on that play or try to contest the shot, you got to meet it outside the lane. You're getting to the front of the rim. That's going to end up a goaltend. I like the offense right now VCU is running. They're doing a really nice job of executing in the half court.
Here's Williams. It's 10 points for VCU tonight, second behind Hyland. And a foul, a blocking foul called as it was Stockard that took it in on the feed from Baldwin again. Now Welch has 4 fouls for St. Bonaventure.
Hey, Mike, if you watch that play back, Ward falls down, and what Welch does is he actually goes down, and he's helping Ward up, and now he's late coming across the lane to take the charge. The guy has such good manners, he was concerned about the guy that fell down, and all of a sudden he picked up his 4th foul. I know, Mike, you wouldn't have picked up that dude. You would have said, you stand around and make a charge.
Yeah, that's a good observation. Well, instead now, with under 4 minutes to go, it's a VCU 6-point lead, and here's Oshuniyi up top. He's being fronted by Stockard.
Look how far VCU's defense, their quickness and their length is pushing the St. Bonaventure team out.
Traveling violation this game here tonight. 3:37 remaining. VCU by 6. What do you see happening here in the final stages?
I think that right now this is going to be some type of high ball screen for Bones Hyland. They're going to try to get something downhill or something in a post-up situation. It's really important right now. Take care of the basketball, VCU. Dictate your shot. Get some paint touches.
Hyland's got a team-high 17 points. Number 5 for VCU. Here's Baldwin. Gets it to Hyland. The shot clock is at 6. Hyland, scooping runner. It's too strong, but he got fouled. And 2 free throws coming up.
That's a terrific possession. You move the ball, you move the defense, you got the ball reversed, you got the ball to your best player in the flat ball screen. He gets downhill and draws a foul. Really, really good execution. Watch right here. I mean, this is a longer possession, but at the end you get the ball to your best player in the middle of the floor, a little ball screen. He does a good job of turning the corner, has different ways to finish. If you help on that screen, he can throw the lob or he can kick out for a 3. Really good execution by VCU. They're poised, Mike. Remember what happened that last game now? They only scored 14 points in the second half. They're poised in the second half. When St. Bonaventure's made these runs, everything that Coach was talking about after that game, they've basically taken and absorbed. Look at that. They scored 14 points in the second half. They got 28 now. They're getting the right guys shooting the basketballs. They're not turning it over. Remember, this was havoc in reverse last game. St. Bonaventure had 26 points off of turnovers in that first game. VCU only scored 10 points off of turnovers. Today, totally different story.
Well, Coach, how big is it going to be now with Oshuniyi out of the game? He fouled out, as you saw, with 11 points, 8 rebounds, and he's done for the rest of the night. 3:10 still to go.
Yeah, which means it's going to be really difficult for St. Bonaventure to finish possessions with a rebound. Look for St. Bonaventure to really spread that court, 5 out, and try to get paint touches, kick out, make one more pass, maybe get some threes for Welsh and Holmes. Be interested to see what they do right here. Attaway's going to the 5, so you could also create a situation, put Attaway in a ball screen, and have him pop and then drive a big.
Lofton to the hole. Doesn't go. Rebound by Corey Douglas for VCU.
Mike Roach managing these last 2 minutes and 45 seconds or so. He's going to move the ball. He's going to use some clock. At the end of the clock, this is a little false motion. They're going to get some type of ball screen for Hyland or get some type of drive.
Baldwin not there. Got his own rebound. Stays with it and kicks it back out. Hyland from beyond NBA range. Not quite sure about that one. And it's rebounded by Jaron Holmes.
That's a Mike Rhodes saying to himself, why? Why? What are we doing here? We got another 20 seconds. Let's get a good shot. But notice who came up with that loose ball. Ace Baldwin. City guards. Baltimore guards. They have a nose for the basketball.
Attaway, and he heads to the free throw line. He has been special tonight. 19 points to lead lead St. Bonaventure in scoring. Welch has 10, and Oshuni fouled out with 11.
How about that game right there? Virginia, North Carolina, an opportunity for North Carolina to get a quality win. Virginia just trying to build their resume. Maybe right now they're a number 3 seed in Joe Lunardi's bracket. Maybe they can get up to a 2. I'm not sure they can get up to a 1, but Virginia is so hard to play against because they invert their offense, bring those bigs away from the basket. And the bigs for North Carolina now, they're going to have a problem because they're going to have to be able to guard Hauser and Huff away from the basket on pick and pops and when they invert their offense for Virginia.
Attaway's up to 20 points now for St. Bonaventure. A chance to cut it to 5 here with this free throw.
This is going to be a big dose of Attaway if they can get stops, because when you put Attaway in some type of screening situation, he's going to be attacking a big where he can use his quickness and his strength to get to the lane.
.24 points is Attaway's career high. He's got 21 tonight. Here is Hyland. Under 2 to go. Good extra passing, but then Baldwin airmails Hyland on the baseline. And a crucial turnover with 1:44 to go.
Trying to get in the lane, trying to make a harder play. Bones Hyland, even though he's 5 for 16, he's a guy at the end of the game you want to have the basketball because he's a big-time free throw shooter.
And a go-ahead three-pointer with 3.9 seconds left in the win at Rhode Island a couple games ago. First win there since 2015, and he is their highest scoring, has the highest scoring average by a VCU freshman since the 1972 season. He has been special. But now it's Lofton here and St. Bonaventure for Attaway. Try to add to his game high, and he does. 23 points now for Attaway. 1 off of his career high, and it's a 3-point game.
And it's a 3-point game, but they down screen for Attaway. He comes up to the ball screen. Lofton drags 2. They throw it back, and that's the matchup. You take a big that has to guard him there, and he makes the play.
Williams steps it in. Help D comes over, and he gets it back up top now. Here is Baldwin with 10 to shoot. On the drive. Fouled out there. Having a hand on it was Corey Douglas, but now it's St. Bonaventure possession and a chance to tie with a 3, and they're going to call a timeout.
What? St. Bonaventure, watch how they get this pass. This is just really good coaching. You're going to see a down screen, you miss it. Now you're putting Attaway in a ball screen. The whole idea of a ball screen is to drag 2. Late rotation on the backside. You got Attaway, who's been as good as anyone tonight, and he knocks down that jumper. But that's just really good coaching by Mark Schmidt. How that play started was a small down screen to big, ran him up, which made the guy defending him late. You come off that screen, you drag 2, throw back, and Attaway delivers.
St. Bonaventure trying to hang on to that top spot in the Atlantic 10 if they can get a win here tonight. If not, VCU is going to jump them at 8-2, and the Bonnies have dropped to 8-3, a half a game back. And both teams really exceeding expectations here this season in terms of the, what everybody thought before the season started. Overall, this is the best start since 1971 for St. Bonaventure here at 10-2. And VCU is a team that was picked 9th in the preseason poll. A lot of young players, 4 freshmen, and They're at 14-4. So you've got number 1 and number 2 here tonight with 50.2 seconds remaining. And St. Bonaventure possession. What are you looking for on this set here, Seth? You don't need a 3 right now. What would you like to see?
No, they don't need a 3. They'll go for a quick 2, and I think you're going to see some type of screen where they're going to have Attaway and Lofton in some ball screen. Don't be surprised if it's also a misdirection. Here it is. There's the screen. They pop him. They get him in the middle of the floor, Attaway against the big, and a really good job of the discipline right there by Ward.
Back to Lofton with 6 seconds. Now Attaway, a step back. It's a long 2, and it's off, and it's VCU ball with 27.1 remaining and a 3-point lead.
Yeah, Attaway, a little step back right there. The second time they had the same situation, they put him in a ball screen, drag 2. He short rolls. I would like to see him drive that, go straight line drive and try to draw a foul.
Timeout VCU.
Yeah, they're going to call this timeout. What they're going to try to do, who are you going to get the ball to? You got to get the ball to your best free throw shooters, all right? You got to understand that you can't run the baseline. So watch Mike Rose try to keep it really simple, some type of screen and come back to the ball. You got to run the ball in your hands.
Well, we talked with Joe Lenardi earlier about all this and their net ranking, the highest of any A10 team right now at 36.
They've got good wins. I mean, they have that win early in the season against Memphis. They got a win against Utah State in the Mountain West. This is a very good basketball team that's going to continue to get better.
VCU and Richmond will co-host the Atlantic 10 men's basketball tournament this year in the city of Richmond. They go back and forth at those 2 venues, try to keep everyone safe, especially in those early days when there's 4 games, that they can split that up. And now here is Hyland as he takes it over, and he's going to be fouled with 25.5 remaining. And Attaway's called for the foul.
Really good job right there by Mike Rhodes getting the ball and using the floor to get open. You see where those guys started? Instead of starting on the baseline, they started away from the basket so that if the defense reacted to them running the ball into the hand, they could release and create a passing lane.
Hyland 5 of 6 tonight from the stripe. And it's 19-point. As we said, a big day in college basketball tomorrow. Indiana, Ohio State get it all started at noon Eastern. Don't miss that. Ohio State's won 5 in a row. Remember, Indiana's had some big wins. They beat Iowa twice this year. They've had 2 of their last 3 have been nail-biters, 2 in overtime. Tennessee and LSU. Tennessee playing very well, 16th in the country. Both are in a tie for second place behind Alabama. And that comes your way at 2 o'clock Eastern tomorrow. Here we go. 24 seconds left. 5-point game. Bonnie's and Lofton. Now Vasquez, count the basket, and a foul.
And that is the last thing that you wanted to do if you were VCU. Great job of Vasquez changing speeds on the big, keeping his head on the rim. Watch how he keeps his head on the rim to finish that shot.
Just what they needed. Foul on Ward, a chance for the 3-point play. Vasquez has had a lot of time tonight, normally averaging only about 13 minutes a ball game, and because of all the foul trouble, he's up to over 20 minutes here tonight. 16 ticks left. Bonnie's with 1 timeout remaining. VCU with 2. Possession arrow favors VCU if we get a jump. Keep that in mind.
And look for for Bonnie's to face guard and deny and switch everything, any type of screening situation. I'd be surprised with the offense having the ability to run the baseline. They do. Yeah, there we go. When the offense can run the baseline, you take the guy off the ball. Now you're outnumbering the guys trying to get open in the field.
They're not defending the inbounds passer, and now there's going to be a foul, and it's going to be on Holmes. Quick foul, 15 seconds left. Oh, no, it's a timeout. There's a timeout here. VCU timeout, no foul. 15 seconds left. And here's a look at Bonaventure's resume and the net of 39. Again, Lenardi's got him in as an 11 seed as of right now.
Yeah, and this is, you've got to also understand it. In this season, we'll see how many games some of these teams play when the season's out, but you're going to miss opportunities. And we only have a certain number of days left. I'm interested to see if certain leagues like the A10 gives teams that are trying to play their way in opportunities to play the other good teams in the conference to get some quad one wins. So it'll be interesting to see that a team like St. Bonaventure, who's had so many games rescheduled, how will they schedule the remaining games of the season? St. Louis, they've only played 4 league games. How are they going to schedule the next 3 weeks of the season? And it's not just the A10, it's across the board. All these leagues have decisions to make because so many teams have been on extended pauses.
Coach, 15 seconds to go. St. Bonaventure down by 2. Obviously, you have to foul, but how much time do you try to play to see if you can get a steal or, force a trap, anything like that? Well, how much time do you have?
You're going to try to get a trap, try to then get an interception situation, and if you can't, then you're going to run through the ball and commit a foul and try to basically stretch the game out. But first and foremost, you're going to look at, I got to see where the ball is going to be inbounded. But you're going to face guard with a center fielder, switch any screen where people cross. If the ball comes in, the center fielder and the person who receives the ball will look to get a quick trap, and they'll look to play a gap. That's what we talk about, 2 on the ball and 2 interceptors. If not, then you give the foul.
They're looking at the clock here. Roger Ayers over at the scorer's table trying to make sure they've got it exactly right.
Was the ball inbounded or was the timeout before the ball was inbounded?
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a good point because I think it was. They haven't changed it. It's staying at 15 seconds. 64-62 now.
Nope,
and it'll be Williams to put it in.
The ball was inbound. This is a very difficult place to inbound the basketball, a very dangerous place to inbound the ball.
Dangerous pass, too, and Hyland somehow was able to get it, and he's going to be fouled. And that was a really tough play there, and Bonaventure almost came up with a steal. They had players right there and knocked it away.
Really hard place to inbound, and that is a long pass. And good job of Hyland coming up with that 50-50 ball. But that area of the floor, because it limits the amount of room you have to throw in the back towards the backcourt, and it forces you really to throw the ball over the top.
VCU has been an outstanding free throw shooting team this season, tracking to have an all-time best in program history. And tonight they are at 74%. Hyland is 8 of 9. You see it, 17-23 overall. This can make it a 4-point game. .22 for Hyland, and he's got it. 9 of 10, 4-point lead. Bonnies have it, 10 seconds to go. Lofton slicing through traffic. The runner is good with 6 seconds remaining. And St. Bonaventure takes their final timeout. And they are not done yet.
Really nice job right there. That was a little step-up screen. And you're talking about coaching. Coaching is understanding what you're going to do in a situation. And if we could actually see that play again, you're going to see there was no doubt in their mind. Lofton was going to get this ball. There's the step-up screen. He can attack the big, and he just gets to the rim. That is really good job. That team had no question on what they were going to do in that situation. That's why you do time and score throughout practice to get your guys, when you don't want to waste that timeout, to be able to tack quick, get it up the floor, and still save the timeout to try to get a stop right here.
Lofton had jumped from the foul line there, was able to kind of scoop that one up and in. Now, the last time St. Bonaventure did not guard the inbounds player, Seth, do you expect that again here, try to get that trap? I mean, VCU does have one more timeout remaining. St. Bonaventure's out of timeouts.
Well, you can, either you go diamond, you put a guy in the ball, and you look to trap the inbounds pass if you can force it towards the baseline, or you face guard. And what face guard means you take the man off the ball, he becomes a center fielder. Now you can switch any cross screens, and if the ball comes over the top, you have someone that can read the passer's eyes. It's really important. It's almost like a free safety when you safeguard, when you take the guy off the basketball in center field. Right here, you're going to see as they're set up defensively. All right, you're going to see complete face guard, and now you will see Holmes on the left-hand side of your screen by the 0 in Atlantic 10. You're going to see Attaway's got to get in front of his man because there's no sense in center fielding. They're not letting Bones Hyland catch the ball.
Ball gets into Williams, and he is going to be fouled. And with 4.4 seconds to go, Vince Williams to the free throw line. And he's an 80% free throw shooter on the season. 45 of 56.
Great job by VCU right there. VCU sees the guy off the ball, so what does he do? They run a guy out of bounds because it's on a made shot. Then your inbounder, who's also a good free throw shooter, can get it right back. And now you've got the ball in a good free throw shooter's hands.
4 for 4 tonight. Oh, all right. So this could only make it a 3-point ball game, but St. Bonaventure's out of timeout, so they got to have in their mind what they're doing here. Make or miss with 4.4 remaining.
If it's a make, what you'll do is you'll pick up the ball full court if you're VCU, try to disrupt and turn the ball handler, and you can even, in your head, after 3 dribbles, run into the ball handler so that you do not give up a 3-point shot.
Coming down to this.
Here's the full court pressure.
3-point game. Lofton, 4.4. St. Bonaventure, a 3 to tie. It's in the Welsh. For 3 and a tie, no, and VCU hangs on for the win, 67 to 64, avenging the earlier season loss to the Bonnies. Big win for VCU, Seth. They even the series at 1 apiece. They've won 5 in a row, and now they're in sole possession of first place in the Atlantic 10.